things like that. And once I graduated, I got a degree in economics and also in finance. And I took it back and I ended up getting a job at the place I was interning. And I liked the job at first and eventually hated it and pretty much spent my time with my coworkers eating. And in about 2 years, I gained about 80 pounds. We went to Starbucks in the morning and I was so embarrassed at the amount of food I would eat that I would actually order enough for like 2 people. So I thought maybe the barista would think I was eating for, or like I was ordering for maybe someone else, but I ate it all. And I'd go back to work and my drawer was full of snacks. Went to Red Robin almost every single day and pretty much a regular there with my bacon cheeseburger, and then would go home after work, eat some more, and it was pretty much an addiction. I ate myself until I got to a really, really bad place, and I was ashamed of where I got myself to be. That's my heaviest there with my dog there, and I didn't recognize myself. And so one day my boss came to me and said, "We've got a work event that you have to go to," and I did not want to go. I tried to think of every excuse in the book of why I had to stay home, but couldn't think of anything, and I really think God was looking out for me that day because I needed to be at that event because it totally changed my life. So when I got to the event, the speaker was the author of Your Best Year Yet. Has anyone ever heard of that book? Probably not. So she made us write down our top 10 accomplishments for the year. So it was September 28th, 2012. I remember the exact day because it changed my life. And I was at a circle table with about 10 other ladies. They were all about 10 years older than me, but we were writing down our accomplishments and everyone had their head down scribbling, and I had a hard time thinking of any. So I thought of 4. One was buying a dog, which is not an accomplishment. Second was I broke up with a really bad relationship. Again, not an accomplishment. And then I had gotten a new job and bought a new car. But I couldn't think of anything else at that time. And I was mortified because everyone else at the table was sharing how they were getting married, they were having kids, promotions, running marathons. And it was just like, oh my gosh, like I'm the youngest one here, I was 24. And it's like, shouldn't I have like the most to be excited about in life? And then we had to do our top 10 disappointments. My head shot down and I was scribbling because I had so many disappointments. I made up for all of those like missed out accomplishments. And then I looked up, no one else could think of anything. And it was just like, oh my gosh, that's embarrassing. Like I have the fewest accomplishments, but I have the most disappointments. And I went home that day and I had to really take a hard look in the mirror, but also a hard look at that list of why I was so disappointed. And I realized a lot of it came from my weight. And it wasn't necessarily like the number on the scale, because that doesn't necessarily define us, but it was the way that weight made me feel. I was really insecure in myself. I didn't want to leave the house. I didn't even want to go to this event because I might have to like talk to people or be around someone. And I didn't want to have to do that. And so I realized, and I am a firm believer, like you have 2 choices in life. You either, like you're gonna complain about something, you either need to be willing to be okay with it and just like make friends with it, or you need to do something about it. You can't sit around and complain about something and choose not to do anything about it. And so I got to work and I started going to the gym. I was paying for Planet Fitness at the time. I've been paying for years. It took so much of my money. And I finally started going back to them and working out every day. I found out that my work had a trainer that they offered for like $30 for the month. I had to actually go around people though, so I was really nervous, but I started going to that training, and then I started changing up my eating habits, and it was slowly but surely giving up the coffee creamer, giving up eating out all week, and maybe just saving it like the things I wanted for the weekends. And before I knew it, like I was seeing results. And they say like you have a pregnancy glow, but I'm pretty sure we all have weight loss glow too, because I walked around with my head held high. I felt so good about myself, and everyone was asking what I was doing. I mean, it wasn't just the way I was carrying myself, but like I wanted to talk to people, I wanted to go out, I wanted to speak up in that meeting at work because I felt good and I felt confident about myself. And I never could tell people what I was doing because I was winging it. I had no idea what I was doing. I was going from the elliptical to that machine and just like winging it. And so in the process of losing weight, I had started sharing my journey on Instagram. Thought the filters were pretty cool. They made me look cool, I thought. And then I also discovered like there was this fitness community out there, like people who were into fitness too. I wasn't the weird, they used to call me the shake girl at work, because I used to drink protein shakes so much. And I wasn't the weird one on social media who was into fitness, because there were other people out there who liked it too. And so I started sharing my journey, and I ran across this girl on Instagram, and she was holding up these 2 rank advancement signs. And I was like, what is that? And she just was talking about turning your passion of health and fitness into a paycheck. And I was like, sold. How do I do that? At this time in my life, I had met my husband. We were 3 weeks away from getting married. I was working 60 hours a week. I had a long commute. I had never done Beachbody. My dad did anyone remember Power 90 way back in the day? So my dad had done that and lost 50 pounds. But I didn't really, I'd never been in a challenge group or anything. And frankly, we were in debt paying for a wedding as well. But I saw this as an opportunity to be able to actually help someone. I had just graduated college, like I mentioned. Once you graduate college and are paying off all your student loans and stuff, last thing you want to do is make a career change and go back to school. And it was like, gosh, I could do this and not have to go back to school. Frankly, I don't want to be a personal trainer, and I don't want to be a dietitian. I just want to cheer someone on, because that's what we need, right? And so I signed up that day. I did not have a lot of hesitations. I didn't care what I had to cut out of my budget to be able to afford my Shakeology. I was going to figure it out, because I thought this could be so cool. And I'm a pretty black or white person. When I choose to do something, I'm either going to go all in with both feet or I'm all out with both feet. And I didn't have a lot of extra income. So that $15.95, when I got on that Getting Started Right call with my coach, I said, I don't make $15.95 this month, I'm quitting. So I don't have a lot of time to waste. So I decided to become coachable. I had a little bit of a slower start, though. My first month, I remember it was Black Friday. And I don't know if any of you guys have been around for a while, but my team put together a graphic, and it had all our sale prices. It was P90X. Anyone remember E&E? There was a 90-day supply of E&E for $15. And I was like, cool, I'll just post this on Instagram. And I posted that graphic. Of course, no one's going to buy it when it has all the sale prices. I'm pretty sure it even had PV. It was really embarrassing that I just posted it on social media. And I went to my coach. I was like, oh my God, we're going to do this, and people won't even buy P90X for $10 from me. But I decided okay, I need to really think about this. So I started T25, slowly gave up the gym, and within 3 days, I was showing off my abs that Shaun T was helping me create. And then 6 days, it was another transformation, and 9 days and 12 days. And I just remember I felt so good that I truly believed everyone and their mothers needs Beachbody. This is amazing stuff. And so within 4 months, I hit Emerald. And I decided that was awesome. I really do want to help other people learn how to do what we do, because I'm enjoying this. It's filling up my cup, still able to work full time, but making some money on the side. And this is so much fun. And so I got to Emerald. My spouse was one of my coaches, and then it was another discount coach. But once I did that, it kind of built my confidence that I can do this. If I can get one person to want to do this, I can get more. And so by month 5, I hit Diamond, and I was super excited. I hung out at Diamond, though, all year long, trying to kind of figure out how I was going to do this. Kind of felt like I went into management mode for a little bit, where you're like, oh, I got my team. Okay, now we're just going to do this. And it's you still need more people to do this with you. And so that next year, I ended up hitting 2-star by Summit. And by the end of the year, I decided I wanted to hit elite. My coach's coach did it, no idea what it meant, but it was that sounds cool, we should do that too. And so it was the last week before qualifications, and 3 diamonds popped, and we hit 5-star, held it throughout Christmas, which was the most stressful Christmas ever, but we did it. And this is kind of where the story pauses a little bit, because I hung out at 5-star for 3 years. So every single year, we were building diamonds, but at the same rate, we were losing them. So I was technically a 5-star who was hitting elite, because you have to have those 2 new coaches every year to hit elite. But my rank was never growing. Our team, even the amount of people on our team was not growing. We hung out at the same number for the longest time. And it's kind of frustrating to watch our team work so hard and feel there's no growth. I want more. And I know rank doesn't do much for us, but work hard, sometimes you want the title to go along with it. And so I decided last year, after sitting at 5-star for 3 years in a row, that we're going to do something different. I had 15-star on my vision board for all 3 of those years, and it never happened for us. But I also had never really done anything. So I was like, okay, we're going to do diamond trainings. I had a couple girls who wanted to hit diamond, and so I kind of took them under my wing, and we started mentoring together, running sneak peeks, just doing stuff together. And our team last July, an 8-star qualifying team, and it felt amazing because we had been working so hard for not even just 8-star, but like just growth. And 8-star was representing the growth our team was seeing rather than just being stagnant. And every single week, anyone who's been in qualifications, I'm sure knows, you wake up every Thursday. I'm pretty sure I woke up at 2 a.m., like rolled over in the dark, checking my back office. It's like, okay, we still got it. And the very last week before qualifications were over, 7-star. I was like, what happened? I've checked everything. I took screenshots. I've done everything. I've lost sleep over this. And I was devastated. And I remember it was something that I had missed. I just missed it. There was a coach that went inactive, and I just missed it. I couldn't point fingers at anyone. I couldn't blame anyone, but it was just, we all missed it, and that's okay. And I remember talking to my mentor, because I was like, do you think coach relations will like backdate in order for us? Do you think they'll do anything for us? And I was like, well, they pull strings, because I've known they've done that before. And he was like, what's your goal? And I said 15. He was like, why do you want them to pull you strings at 8-star then? Why don't you just get back to work? I was like, oh, crap. Okay, I'll get back to work. So I had a moment, gave myself a day to cry and be frustrated because we had worked so hard, and I just kind of felt this moment of deep defeat. Like, I was upset that we lost qualifications, and I kind of felt like, man, I should have got that. But I decided to, again, just like my journey, you have 2 choices. Let it discourage you, and honestly, let it discount the momentum that my team had worked so hard for. You know, like losing 8-star didn't mean we didn't have momentum. Or you can get fired up. And I was hungry, you guys. Like, I almost wanted to say I was pissed off, but I was more so just hungry for growth. I wanted it so bad. You see your team work so hard that it's like, I wanted the title of superstar for a team because I always have envisioned myself with leaders on either side of me, locking arms and doing this together, like changing lives together. It's not necessarily just the title, but it's like, I want a team doing this with me. And so I think we get in these periods of our business where we kind of are waiting for our team. Where just like how I said at Diamond, I was in management mode. You kind of get to these points where you're like, okay, I've got coaches who say they want this. I'm just going to sit around and wait till they do this. I'm going to work with these 2 coaches that want to do this. And I feel like you constantly are, or I felt like I was constantly waiting for people to like step up and do things, and it just wasn't happening. And I realized in this moment of losing 8-star that I had more ownership in my business than I really gave myself credit for. Because honestly, if we want business builders, that's on us to go find them. And if we have the wrong coaches on our team, that's on us for recruiting them. What were we putting out to find them? And if we want our coaches having quicker wins and hitting ranks and hitting Success Club, that's on us to set that as the expectation and train them. And so rather than sitting around and just waiting for my team to like become 15-star, I decided I was going to make some moves, and I was going to do some stuff myself and like focus on what I could control rather than just like waiting. And so I kind of looked at 8-star as, we have moments in our business where we might miss Success Club, or we might miss rank advancements, or we might get really close to this and then lose it. And sometimes these are learning lessons where we kind of fail forward. It's kind of like an arrow where you kind of have to step back so you can launch in a new direction into something bigger and better and learn from it so you can become an even better and greater coach. And so I had to really start reflecting on what I could control, of who I was inviting and what I was working on, so I could start focusing there, and hopefully everything else would fall into place. And so I really do believe losing 8-star was the reason our team was able to hit superstar, because we kind of stepped back but launched in a new direction. And so that's what I want to talk to you guys today about, is what specific changes I made in my business that went from 5-star last year, losing 8-star, and then hitting superstar by the end of the year. So Very first thing I wanted to talk about was I had to really start looking at who I was inviting into my business. Who was I attracting on social media? I found for a long time I was attracting really negative Nancy's. Like, I started out at 215 pounds, and sometimes I found I was talking so much about the old me. The old me was like 6 years ago. Like, I'm not her anymore. I don't even know who that girl is, except I've got pictures of proof that she was there. But I'm a different person now. I've got kids. I've got a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old. I've got another one on the way. And I'm a different person than I was 6 years ago. And I realized, like, I really need to start thinking about who I was actually attracting on social media so I could attract the right people into my business rather than people who I found I was finding a lot of people who wanted what I had but had no work ethic and were not willing to do anything. And my people are workers. They're not people who are going to sit back and just complain, because I'm a person that I make a choice to do things, and I want people who want to also make a choice and do things with me. So very first, and I also found that in my social media posts, like when I really went back and looked at them, I was talking to kind of everyone in my posts. Anyone else a people pleaser like me? I always wanted people to like my posts. I want everyone to like it. I don't want anyone to disagree with me. But I found that when I was doing that, I really wasn't talking to anyone. I was just talking to, like, glazing over everyone. So no one really was relating to me. So the very first thing that I want you guys to think about in your business is, who are you actually talking to on social media? And I want you guys to talk to one person, okay? Not to all of your followers, one person. What are they like? Your person is probably you, let's face it. You probably want to find people who are just like you in your business. And so who are you talking to? What do they like? What do they dislike? What do they want more of? What do they want less of? What do they struggle with? What do they dream of? What is their personality like? Do they have kids? Do they work? Are they a stay-at-home mom? Do they go to school? Did they go to school? These are the things to really start thinking about. Do they have dogs? I mean, there's so many little things that make us us that we kind of forget about that we should be sharing on social media. So in a training I did, had to make an avatar, and I want you guys to meet her. So, and I want you guys to do this, and you guys don't need to do anything fancy. You don't need a graphic, pen, paper, that's all you need. But I want you guys to give her a name, or him. Give them a name. Mine is Stacy Smith. Stacy was the name I always wish my mom would have called me, so that's my avatar. And she's 30 years old. Hi, I'm 30 years old too. She's got 2 boys. She works full time. She's married. She's pretty introverted, but when you get to know her, she will break out of her shell, and she's pretty extroverted and a little bit spunky too. She loves Pinterest, but not because she is a Pinterest mom, but more of an Amazon Prime mom. But she really likes to pin down inspirational quotes and fitness. She's got a fitness board where she aspires to be super, super fit, just like hasn't done it yet. And she loves cooking. Every single day you'll find her recording Ellen on her DVR and checking it out after she gets home from work. She works full time, doesn't love her job, and she has this like burning passion inside of her that she doesn't know really what it's for yet, but she knows she was made for something more. And that's my girl. She wants to be home with her kids, and she would do just about anything to be home with her kids, even if that means sacrificing 2.5 years in a Beachbody business in order to do it. And so this is my girl. And so when I post on social media, I talk to her, okay? So what is Stacy Smith like? And when I write a post, I ask myself, would Stacy like this? Would she not like this? Would she relate to this? Or would she think this is weird? That's who I talk to in my posts. And so I want to give you an example. There was actually a post I did about maybe 4 years ago now, and I couldn't find a picture of it, so I'm just going to tell you about it. But there was about 4 years ago, so I have a 4-year-old son, and I was postpartum with him, and he was probably 6 months, and we were about to go to the pool, because we lived at an apartment with a pool, and I had him on my hip, and I was feeling amazing. You know, you feel, especially after having kids, you start getting your body back, you feel so good. And so I took a picture of him and my hip, and I had this moment where it's like, oh, if I post this on social media, what are people going to say? Moms shouldn't wear bikinis. Moms should be covered up in moo-moos, right? And, you know, like, what will people think? Will they think I'm super vain? Will they think this? Will they think that? But I decided to post it anyways, got a little brave, and one of my very top coaches, the only elite coach on my team actually, when I signed her up, she said, Jess, I saw you with your son on your hip. You guys were heading to the pool, and I wanted to be that. And so I signed up. And I think back, like, what if I would have not posted that? What if I would have let that inner mean girl, like, come over and not post that because of what someone else would have said? Someone else who's not my avatar maybe would have judged me for that. My avatar wants to look good. My avatar means things looking good, means taking care of yourself, has no problem with that. And my avatar also wants to rock a bikini until they're dead. So that's what I'm going to talk about. And so I really want to like show you guys some sample posts though of me talking to my avatar. So this is me and my kids. Are they not the cutest? You don't have to agree with me. I'm biased. But so this year my son is in preschool and I got to attend his Christmas party, which was pretty much the coolest thing ever. Because I remember sitting at the 18th floor of Expedia wondering if I'd ever be able to attend his Christmas parties or be there to be able to go to preschool. And it was the coolest thing ever to be able to be in class with him, making Christmas trees out of frosting and eat candy and sing songs and sit on circles. And I had the best time. And so my avatar, remember how I said she'd do anything to be home with her kids? Well, I'm going to make sure I talk about being home with my kids and that this is what I work hard for, is these two boys right here, being able to be there at preschool and not be able to miss out on those things. The next one is kind of similar. And no, my son is not missing a tooth. He's got blackberries in his teeth. But getting to go to preschool, that is my version of like living my best life, is dropping my kids off at preschool, being able to be there to pick them up, having a preschool backyard, and just getting to be there. Because I remember eating, again, my lunch by myself, working and hustling my job, and hustling Beachbody, hustling invites, dreaming of these moments. And so I want to paint this picture for my avatar of what life can look like when you go all in with your dreams, and encourage them to have, you know, the courage to go after what they want. And this next one is more about income, because again, my avatar also needs to make a living at this. I earned good money at my full-time job. I couldn't just do Beachbody and earn a couple bucks. I had to earn a full-time living. And that back laptop, I bought that when I was 6 months into the business. Yes, 6 months of saving up for a laptop, because we were broke when we started. And I was taking a selfie early in the morning and I shattered the keyboard screen by dropping my phone on it. Don't do that. But it was a really cool day when I got to go into the Apple store and say, I'll take that one and I'll pay in cash. And it was so cool when I didn't have to put a payment plan down or wonder how I would pay for this, because I had to do that with my first one. I couldn't just pay for cash. I had to save up for months. And again, I know my avatar needs the income and would love that freedom of not being able to fill up their gas tank more than just 10 bucks at a time, because that's what they can afford right there. So these are some of the things. And if someone judges me for talking about my income, they're not my person, and that's okay. And same with if people think about me bragging about staying home with my kids or things like that. Again, they're not my person, and it's okay. Because there are, what, 300,000, 400,000 of us coaches? There's a person for everyone. So I don't have to be the person for everyone. So now that I knew who I was going to talk to, I needed to figure out how I was going to actually get these business builders coming to my team. What was I going to do? Like, now I know how to attract people, but how do I actually get business builders to want to join my team? And so for the longest time, we were running sneak peeks, and I was doing them with my team. And they were inconsistent. They'd be once a month, maybe twice a month. Sometimes they were 1 hour. Sometimes they were called a happy hour. Sometimes they were a sneak peek. Sometimes they were what is coaching. But when you're inconsistently doing sneak peeks or inconsistently offering the opportunity, you're also inconsistently getting coaches to join your team. And for my goals, I want people doing this with me. I want people joining my team all the time. So, you know, when we're doing these sneak peeks as a team, I also found when you're doing them for like a team of even if you only have a team of 20, guarantee all 20 of you guys aren't the exact same person and looking for the exact same avatar. And I found I couldn't really talk to my avatar in a sneak peek for everyone. So I found I kind of had to like minimize my hustle and minimize my drive because I didn't want to scare off my brand new coach's prospect that she invited to this group with the hustle, because my brand new coach, she'd be cool if someone wanted to join for the discount. And so we're all at different spots in our business, and so I had to start doing sneak peeks. And before I talk about sneak peeks, I just also want to remind you guys, there are a million ways to do the same things in this business. You do not have to run sneak peeks. And I've sat in the audience of these things many times where I take it so literal, like, oh, I have to do exactly this. This is just what I do. There are many ways to do coaching opportunity calls. You gotta find something that works for you and also feels good. Sneak peeks work for me and they feel good. So I went to leadership last year in Vegas, and one of the teammates that went with me, she is very much like me. Her hustle is very much like mine. We're looking for a very similar person. So we're like, why don't we do these together? So we stopped running them for the team, which is a little nerve-wracking because my first thought is, what if my team fails? Like, what if will they do these without me? And I had to remind myself that I will go ahead and learn this, and if it works, I will duplicate it for my team. And if not, I can go back to what I was doing, even though it wasn't bringing my right person. I can always go back and run them for my team. So about 6 months ago, I started running my own weekly sneak peeks. They are Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays every single week. And I started this just with my teammate, and it forced me to be really consistent with my inviting, because if you're doing a sneak peek every week, you gotta make sure you fill it up, and there's actually new people watching every week. And so if you guys follow me, go back to that slide real fast. You probably recognize this call to action because I post it probably every single week. I, for a long time, was constantly recreating the wheel with the content, and I realized this one works really well. I put that on my stories. I can get 100 people to swipe up and join my sneak peek that week. And I know it's not always like that. I've posted call to actions where it's crickets, and it's like, oh my gosh, is there anyone out there? But this one works really well for me. And I take them through my process of coaching and ask them to swipe up on it. And I post that almost every Sunday. And so when I know that I have sneak peek starting on Wednesday, I know this thing's got to go out on Sunday. And I need to go in my street pipeline and follow up with all my prospects who used to be interested in coaching and follow up and invite them again. And I need to go invite new people, and I need to start scheduling posts. It helps me stay in a good, consistent routine. But I also just want to encourage you guys to find call to actions or find ways to invite that work for you. I know call to actions didn't always work for me. You know, I've got 100,000 followers on Instagram. They work well now, but when you have 100 followers, they don't always work the same. But figure out something that does work for you and stay with it until it doesn't work. And now I'm not saying find a post on social media and post it all the time and always share the same content, but you can share some of the same content as long as you have really good content going between it. And I want to share an example of pink blush maternity. Does anyone know what that is? So they sell maternity clothes, obviously, and when I was pregnant with my second, there was this dress that popped up on Facebook, and I swear Facebook can read our minds because the ads are always what I'm thinking, and it was this great dress, and I'm so cheap that I was like, I can't afford it, scroll, and I saw it the next day, and I was like, dang, that dress is so cute, scroll, and I did that about 10 times before eventually I saw that same dress, and every day I was reminded, I really wanted that freaking dress. And so I ended up buying it and bought like 10 others to go along with it because I now was reminded I wanted it. And so I know sometimes when people see the same call to actions, it's the same thing. People aren't interested, they're always going to swipe by no matter what you do. But people who are interested and see this and go, man, she was able to retire, she was able to do this, look at that trip, like I want to be there, like man, I kind of think I could do this. If they see this long enough and they're interested, eventually they're going to get so sick of seeing it that they're going to swipe up to see what it's all about. And it works. So that's what I do for my weekly sneak peeks. And so now that I'm getting people in my sneak peeks, I wanted to take you through exactly how I host my sneak peeks and what each day looks like. So on day one, my coach or my teammate and I both share our stories. And we share our stories about how we got started in this business. She goes, and then I go. We have a set schedule, 1 p.m., it's nap time for both of our kids. And so she goes first and I go second. We are very honest and frank, okay? We often paint coaching as all rainbows and butterflies and forget to tell people like, oh yeah, we've worked really freaking hard too. And so I share about my weight. We go all the way back to our weight loss journeys of how we got started. And we go all into how we eventually found our coach and what we were attracted to in this business. And talk about, we were doing this, my teammate, was a stay-at-home mom. I worked full-time, so our prospects get a little bit of each. But we talk about what we liked about coaching, and we also talk about how we fit this in. And so I let people know, like, yeah, I worked at, 60 hours a week, and yep, I was pregnant getting up at 2:50 in the morning to do T25 before I worked, so I could have another hour and a half to work my business. And that hour and a half commute, yeah, I didn't listen to the radio. I was doing coach calls, and I was listening to trainings, and I was coachable, and I was implementing. And I took 100 bathroom breaks a day to go invite in the bathroom. And I also, took my lunch break and saw it as a way, 60 minutes that I used to just eat through to get through my day, started inviting, and I would go to a park across the street and see how many invites I could send in 60 minutes. And I can tell you could send a hell of a lot of invites in 60 minutes. And then I would do the same thing on my commute home. And I tell them how sometimes there were times on the weekend where I had to stay home and I had to work my business. And I had to get up really early, even on the weekends, to get some work done because I had a dream of being home with my kids. And I know if my avatar has a dream of being home with their kids, I want them to see it's hard work. And I also let them know I did that for 2.5 years while working full time. I was not quitting my job in week 3 to be able to stay home, and I wasn't making 6 figures in the first year either. And so I do this so people can hear our stories, that this wasn't all rainbows and butterflies, and we worked really hard. But then later in the day, we share more about the trips and the success stories. And so we share success stories from our other coaches because I want my prospects to see it's just not me. Success is other coaches on our team too. But also that success looks different for my other coaches on my team. It's not always making millions of dollars and quitting your full-time job. It's sometimes is having extra money in your bank account so your kid can play soccer. And it's having the community and friendships that you've never had and having the accountability to finally lose that weight that you've been trying to lose for years. And success is different for everyone. And then we also talk about the trips because, yes, I want to hear the hard work with also the fun stuff because we're not all here just because this is hard. We're here because this is rewarding. It fills us up, and we love what we do. And it's fun. And if you guys gone to Summit, woo! You guys bought your tickets for this year? Woo! Summit is fun, and these Success Club trips are so much fun too. It was so fun being able to take my husband on there and have a vacation for us. And I want them to see that, like, yeah, we work hard, but we play hard too, and we have a really good time together. And so we talk really, really frank and openly about this. And as you guys are sharing your stories, I really encourage you guys to think about, like, what does your avatar need to hear in your stories? Every single one of us are here because we obviously love health and fitness. This is something about Beachbody has changed our life, but you're probably here for another reason too. And maybe it's the income, maybe it is the community, maybe it is accountability, maybe it's a new career opportunity or the freedom to be able to stay home with your kids. But share these other perks because your avatar probably is attracted to these other perks as well. And it's important to share that with them. Another thing I really stress in my story is the fact that when I was working full-time and saw Beachbody, when I was going to school, I didn't know I was interested in fitness and health. I had no idea. So I got my degree in finance and economics to make my dad proud. And he's very proud, but that didn't fill me up at all. And when I found I was into health and fitness, I didn't want to go back to school. And it's really hard to change careers once you have already gone to college, and you might have to go back to college and get more student loans. And I know a lot of people don't want to do that, and I know a lot of people will sit in a career that they're unhappy with because it's too hard to change. And so I want to share how I was able to change my career in my story without going back to school, and I could do it while working full-time and not giving up my full-time income. But share these in your story, and if you had hesitations, share them in your story too. I used to do a video called Hesitations, and what do you know? everyone left the group with hesitations, and it was like, oh, that backfired. You know, like I don't want to like give people hesitations, but you know, like I had no one, not a single person in my family or my friends ever signed up to do this business with me. And I started with maybe 200 followers on Instagram. My profile on Facebook when I started was still before I had ever gained the weight. Like I was not posting on social media all that much before I started, except on my little Instagram account. And I'll share these things, how you don't need a ton of friends to join. You don't need a big following. You don't even need to have a lot of money, because I was in debt too. So I think it's really important to share these hesitations in your story without calling them your hesitations, because sometimes you can stir up some things you didn't need stirred up in the first place. So then on day 2, we go into what we do and also cost to coach. She takes this video of what we do, and I take the video of income and cost. The reason we do this is so we both can master them. Rather than switching them up every single week, the video is the same exact thing. And we'll take what we learned from the last week, like, oh, we had lots of questions about what the boot camp was like. Okay, make sure we elaborate this time. Every week is a learning lesson. But when we talk about what we do, we talk about what we do in general. Starting out with our boot camps, picking a program, being on our own journeys, getting in shape, leading by example, being a product of the product, and sharing it with others. And unlike, I know like for me, like I was never in a challenge group. So some of these people in our groups are part of our boot camp, and some of them are not and have never been in a boot camp. So we'll talk about what we actually do in our boot camps, what they look like, what we post in there, just so people can kind of get a feel for that. And we talk about how important it is to consistently show up. And I'm sure anyone in here who's trying to build a business knows this is more than just press and play every day and telling your bestie. Like, there's a lot more that goes into coaching than we see. And I've had a lot of people join my team going, wow, you guys make this look really easy on Instagram. Like, I can't do this. So I want people to, when we talk about what we do, to really know what we do. And it's growing a network on social media. We'll teach you how to do it, but you gotta be willing to grow your network. You gotta be willing to share your story. You can't be a scaredy cat, come in here and be too afraid to open your mouth and tell anyone about this, because I think of our open sign for our business is inviting. If you're not opening your mouth and inviting, your business is closed for the day. So I let them know, like, you can't just invite once a month. It's every day. Your story, you have to be willing to share it every day to get some pieces of it. And you're gonna hear no. I let them know, my teammate lets them know on day 1, you're going to hear no a lot, and you're going to be ghosted more than you ever thought possible. And I want them to be prepared for that, because I don't want them to be surprised when that first person says no to them, that they're the only ones and they're not going to be successful, because we hear no's all the time. And the more successful you are in the business, it just means you've heard more no's. And so we talk about that and really go in depth about inviting, growing your social media, personal development, all those 4 random behaviors, just so when someone comes in here, there is no secret of what they're going to have to be doing, and that we work hard. And then later in the day, I talk about cost and how we earn income. And I always preface it before I go into cost that every business in the world has costs. Because I had a lot of coaches coming to me going, or prospects, that wanted to coach. And they're like, oh, I wish I could do what you do, but I can't afford it. And I know some people truly can't afford it, but I want them to see the cost of signing up to coach as their startup fee, an investment to make more money back. You know, like I always use the example, anyone who works full-time probably has a car or a bus pass, or some way to get to work, and you probably spend $100 maybe easily on gas to get to work. That's your Shakeology. So we always say like, oh, I can't afford to do this. Like I hear that as, I can't afford to go make money. And so I want to preface them with that there are going to be costs here, but they're costs that you're going to earn back. And we're going to teach you guys how to earn back. Because I don't want anyone being like, oh, this is going to cost me so much. No. It's going to cost you this much and you're going to earn this much. So I go into challenge packs, and I use the example of, okay, let's say you sign up today. You're going to have challenge packs that you get signed up with. I make every coach sign up with a challenge pack. It's kind of a hypocrite of me because I did not sign up with one. But I think it's really important, and I want my coaches to be prepared to be a product of the product and know that you need to live like set the example. And I want them to have Beachbody on demand, the meal plan, Shakeology, all of it. And so I go through, what is Beachbody on demand? How do you stream it? What workouts do you get? What is Shakeology? What is Performance Line? What is Energize? What is our meal plan? What does it look like? And then I tell them that it's $160 because I want them to see $160 for what we do is so dirt cheap. It is cheap. We should be charging so much more than that. And I want them to see the value that sign-up fee, they're pretty much getting a free business with their products. And these are products, if they're wanting to coach, they should want already. And so I go into that. I also give them options. I do not let someone go to teambeachbody.com and browse because the website's very overwhelming if you've never been there. There's lots of options. And I want them to sign up with a challenge pack. So I give them certain options. I let them know what they are. And then I get into the monthly fee, which is $15.95. And I use the example of, that's pretty much all our employees. You know, as coaches, we don't need inventory. Does anyone else know friends who have their own businesses that have a garage full of products or have to go on Instagram or Facebook and say, hey, I'm placing an order. Anyone want anything? Like, the cool thing is, like, we don't have to do that in our business. If someone wants our help, like, we can set them up and we don't have to take care of their shipping or inventory or taking their payment, anything like that. Beachbody does it for us. And we've got awesome customer service. And that's what that $15.95 is for, along with the website for our back office and for our customers. And I also want to go back because I missed the whole 25% thing. I also let them know, along with that $160 challenge pack, they need to be prepared to have a monthly order. Again, I don't want that to be a surprise when they come to month 2 and realize that they have to reorder Shakeology or they need the Performance Line. Because again, I want them to know, like, this stuff is so important and I don't want someone joining my team that doesn't see the value in Shakeology or Performance Line. So I let them know we get 25% off, and I also let them know how much do we pay as coaches, you know, what the exact dollar amount is, so they can kind of budget that in and see because if that's not something they can do, like, join my boot camp in the meantime, fall in love with this stuff if you haven't already, and then sign up later on when you're ready to go. But I want them to know exactly what they're getting into. So I let them know they get 25% off, and then we go into 25% commission. So my biggest thing I want to stress to my prospects that are signing up is you're not going to earn $1 million in your first month. You might not even earn $1,000 in your first month. And so I go over all those challenge packs that I told them they can sign up with, and I tell them that they earn 25%, and I give them the dollar amount. That challenge pack we were just talking about, yeah, you make $50 on that. And I know that might sound weird to tell them, like, oh, I'm making this much money off you, but I do them that because I want them to see, like, their challenge pack costs $160, and you sign up 3 friends pretty much, and you pay for that yourself. I want them to see how easy it can be to get their Shakeology paid for and start making a profit right away. And that is not signing up 1 million people in order to make an income here. And then I also go into team cycle bonus and quarterly bonuses. I kind of try to set the expectation of what they can expect to earn. And I know, and I always say, like, you guys can out-earn me, they can do way less. Like, it's all to what a coach does. Your hard work represents the income that you're going to take home. But I tell them what I make in my first year, and then I tell them how I made about 10 times more in my second year. And that first year, and the reason I do that is I want them to see the timeline. They need to be in this. Like, I want lifers joining my team. I don't want someone here who's just trying to make a couple bucks, and if they don't make it, then they're out. I want people who really believe in this. And so I tell them what they can expect in team cycle bonus, how it might be $14 your first month. It's not going to be a ton of money. But as you continue to grow and you build that foundation for your business, you're going to grow. And so I show them what I made in my first year. Am I allowed to share with you guys? I made $16,000 my first year. And I worked more than my full-time job to earn that $16,000. And I let them know that because, you know, you're working 60 hours a week at a full-time job and you're putting in every blood, sweat, and tears into this other business, and you only bring $16,000 home. For us, that was life-changing. That was our rent every month. I was stoked. And I was doing it because I loved it. But if someone was wanting to make a full-time income off that, they're not doing it in their first year. Second year, I made $127,000. And that was getting my second business center, and that was really staying consistent. Even when I was working a full-time income or a full-time job for $16,000 a year, most people wouldn't do that, but I do that so they can see that it's going to take time to build the foundation of your business, and you got to be in this. And I see have you guys ever seen that meme where it shows like the miner, and he gets so close to the diamonds and he walks away, and like, dang, one more swing there, you would have had it. I see coaches do that all the time, and they walk away before they ever really see the income come in, and they give up because they don't see it coming in. And it's like, oh, you are so close, if only you knew. And so I want them to know that that's kind of the expectation here and the guidelines, like, not the guidelines, but like, just know like you're not going to make $1 million your first year. And if that's what they're coming in for, I don't really want them on my team, because I want people who want to do this regardless of what the income is like. And if you stay passionate and you stay consistent, and you consistently are helping people, the income's going to come too. So that is me trying to rid anyone who's here just to make a few bucks, because if they're looking for a quick fix here in income, it's wrong business. And so on day 3, then we go into what they can expect from us. The reason I do this is I have a ton of coaches that come to me on Instagram, like, hey Jess, can I switch coaches? My coach, she never helps me. I've got all these questions and she doesn't ever do anything. And I say, did you ask your coach? Well, no. Okay, well, your coach doesn't even know you have those questions. And I kind of want to set that guideline that I'm going to be here every step of the way. I'm going to give you all the tools to be successful, but I am not a babysitter. And I'm not going to handhold you forever. And I'm going to give you the tools, and I'm going to expect you to show up too. And so I walk them through the sign-up process. Again, just like if they're signing up that day, you're going to sign up, you're going to pick your package, I'm going to send it to you, you're going to send me your confirmation back, I'm going to send you an email, we're going to go through X, Y, and Z, get you in the team pages, I'm going to send you my self-paced training, kind of go over a little about that, the new coach kickoff call. We're going to do a lot of things one-on-one through Voxer, and I kind of do let them know that a lot of this stuff is one-on-one because their needs are very different probably from other people's needs. And I really try to set the expectation that I am here to give them the tools, but I am not going to work their business for them. And I'm not going to beg them to show up. And if they're wanting a coach that's going to message them every single morning and say, hey girl, did you do your invites today? Did you get your workout in? Did you drink your shake? Did you do your personal development? I am not that coach because I got kids, I got my own business too, and I'm going to assume that if someone wants this, that they're going to show up because they want it for themselves. I cannot want it for someone else. And so that's my biggest goal out of doing this video, is letting them know that they get to set the pace. You know, if they work full time, they can only dedicate an hour a day. That's totally fine. You get to set your pace, but I am not going to drag you along in this journey. I'm going to walk with you, jog with you, run with you. But if you stop, I'm not going to come back and try to like drag you along because I just can't do it. So that's kind of what I do out of what we can expect from us. And then I want to kind of give you some tips on things to do every single day in your sneak peek. So every single day, end it with a call to action. Figure out how many spots you're gonna have. And I've heard coaches say, I don't want to do that because I'm going to take more than that. And it's like, well, if you're going to take more, then up your number. For me, it's 10 coaches a week. Okay. Do I always get 10 a week? No. But that's the max I'm going to take. And I really do limit at that because I can't mentor 10 girls one-on-one if I'm doing more than 10 a week. So figure out your spots, and then every day let them know, I've got 10 spots left. You don't have to wait to the very end of the sneak peek. If you're ready to get signed up, let me know. There were 2 coaches that approached me before I signed up as a coach. And the reasons I didn't sign up is they never followed up with me. And also, one of the girls is like, okay, we're going to do a group in a month. I want to sign up today. I'm a very like all or nothing person. And the reason I signed up with the coach I did was because she signed me up that day. If she would have made me even wait a week to figure out something, I would have been out. So I want to give them the option. If they are super excited after watching our stories and they're like, I'm in, okay, let's do it right now. It's like, I'm not going to let them like go home and talk to their husband and change their mind and sleep on it and talk themselves out of it. I'm going to let them sign up right then. So every single day, make it a call to action. And then as the days go on, if you're getting people signed up, I got 4 spots left. I've got 2 spots left because FOMO is real, guys. If you're like my husband, he's like, what's FOMO? You're missing out, guys. FOMO is real, and people, if they see the spots limiting they can't get in. And so give them a date to join by too. Every week, I'll go into this in a couple slides, but I'll say, give them a date to join by. For us, it's Sunday night. After that, they gotta wait till the next week. Obviously, the next week starts 2 days later, so they're not really waiting that long. And people who really want this, they're gonna dive in anyways. And then what we do is we download all the videos. I don't know if you guys know this, because I just learned this, that there are Chrome plugins where you can download live videos on Facebook and upload them to YouTube. Make them unlisted, so that way not everyone can see them. And I download the videos every day and I send them out through email. So again, I have another opportunity to talk to all these people. Get in their inbox and say, here are the videos in case you missed them. I've got 10 spots left. I've got 4 spots left. It's another way to touch base with them and do a call to action and have them respond back and say, I'm in. And so just another way to communicate with them is get their email addresses or however way you track people. I use Streak and send them the information. So once you get people signed up, that really is when the work begins. This is my kind of onboarding process. So once someone gets signed up with me, they pick their package, I get them signed up, and I welcome them to the team page. They get an email from me that asks for their bio and their picture, and I have them add me on Boxer. So I do not just send them the training, I kind of set this up on purpose. These are roadblocks. I want coaches to follow directions. And so I have them send me their email or their bio and their picture. I welcome them into the team page just like this, nothing fancy. Once they do that, I then send them the self-paced training. So I have a training that is 14 lessons long, self-paced through Thinkific. Thinkific is free, anyone can do it. If you don't like the training that you have with your team or your upline has, do a new one. For the longest time, I was like, I don't really like our team training. It's not really working. And for the longest time, I just sat there. It's like, if you don't like it, change it. You're a boss, you can change it. But I will also say, if you have something that does work, don't just go recreate the wheel just so your name can be on it, because it's a lot of work to do this. But it's nice, if you're on training, and as you get people signed up, if you find a lot of coaches are struggling with this, go add it to the training. If the training's too long, take things out if you don't need it. And I do self-paced because people are like me, they're probably gonna dive in and finish it in a day, but I also know that can be overwhelming. And so people can take it day by day. I just had a coach finish it last week. It took her 4 months to finish it. That's her pace, and that's okay. At least she finished it. But they can go at their own pace, and I really stress to implement as you go. Because I had so many coaches finishing this training, and I was like, oh, I never saw you announce yourself as a coach. And she's like, oh, I didn't do that yet. Okay, you have to actually implement as you go. So I really, really stress that for my coaches. And then I tell them, when you get halfway through, set up a call with me. And I have them set up a call. The call is so simple, you guys. I ask them, if I could wave a magic wand in front of you and you could be as successful as you want it to be, what does it look like? I want to see what your version of success looks like. Some people say, I lose 10 pounds. Okay, I know they're probably going to be in my talent group, but I have to support them that way, and that's okay. And I've had other girls come in and say, I want to do what you do. I want to be a superstar. I want to be elite. I want to take this thing to the top, and I know that's also, I got to match their pace. So that's kind of me figuring out what kind of coach they're going to be. They can always change their mind later on. I know I did, but I want to match their pace. And then I ask them, what questions do you have? And I really have them just ask questions. Sometimes they're 30 minutes long, sometimes they're 5 minutes long. Some coaches have no questions, and that's okay. But it's really just touching base, giving them my quality time, because I know a lot of people's love language is quality time, and getting face-to-face with them, showing them that I care about them, I believe in them, and I'm here for them. And then we also do a weekly new coach mentorship call. So we used to do this thing every single Sunday night at 5 p.m. Pacific. And I got this idea from, I think it's Emily Favre, who does Emerald in 24-hour calls. I was like, that's genius. Why am I not doing that? And so we started that way, and then I found a lot of coaches were hitting Emerald in 24 hours, but they weren't ever hitting Success Club. And business is more than just hitting Emerald and hanging out there. And so we kind of called it the New Coach Mentorship Call. We changed this recently, literally 2 weeks ago, and we now send this out as a recording because I'm all about having boundaries for family time, and I don't want to work on Sunday night. So I send this out as a recording, and my teammate and I now do a Q&A on Mondays during nap time for our new coaches. We require them to watch this video first. So it's 30 minutes long. It goes over what Success Club is, what Emerald is, Success Starters, the benefits of Emerald, who to invite, what to say, how to do share card, everything I think a brand new coach needs to know. And ever since we've started doing this, my coaches actually hit Emerald in 24 hours, and they actually hit Success Club in their very first week, and they actually are hitting Success Starters. Last year, I had 2 Success Starters for the entire year, you guys. And I remember Doug Moss came to me and said, of the people in the top 20 of the company, you have the lowest amount of Success Starters. I was like, that's embarrassing. So it's like, I gotta change that. That goes down to my mentoring. And so I changed it. And this month, we've already had 3 of them. I've got another 2 that will pop next month. And I've already outdid myself from last year. And so our Q&A, so we just did our very first one last week, but it was really nice because we actually could answer questions. And so so pretty much my goal is anything I have to repeat over twice, put it in a video, put it in the training, send it out so you're not doing it over and over and over again. And so this is kind of some slides from it, but our recording really is just the basic things they need to know. And my goal is not to overwhelm a coach, but give them like, what are the number 1 things they need to focus on? And it's getting their own results and then starting to invite so they can get some quick wins. I know quick wins from the coaches leads to incredible confidence. For everyone in the room, you got your first person that signed up, it was like, I'm not a failure, I can do this. Like, you know, when your first coach is like, oh my gosh, I can do this. You get so much confidence in doing it. And so that's what I want my new coaches to get, is those quick wins of teaching them this stuff right away. But a lot of the stuff we do is one-on-one stuff. That's my next slide, I'm not sure. Oh, early ones. No, we're going to do this first. And so another thing I started doing was a business builder page. And so I had always had like a team-wide business builder page, and I've had like a team-wide page, but like nothing for just my coaches. And this kind of made me feel a little disconnected from my coaches. And do you guys know Jamie and Steve Innes? This is something they do. And I was like, okay, success leaves clues. If they're successful, I'll do it too. And so I opened up a page for just my business builders. And I classify a business builder as someone hitting Success Club. I think Success Club is super important. Very important. I've hit it every single month since I signed up. And I don't want my coaches to think it's hard. And so I created this page. Very first month, I let all of my personally sponsored coaches come in there. And then it was like, oh crap, I gotta make this page good. Because I need them to feel like they need to be in this page. And so I started getting guest speakers to come in there. And that's the place I hang out. And I tell my coaches, especially my new coaches, you can come in this page first month for free. After that, I'm gonna require Success Club. And so I make it a good page where they want to be in there. And every single month I update this business builder graphic of Success Club. And I used to do Success Club once every week. And I did it for my whole downline. I still do. But I didn't get a check every single time my coaches were having a win and signing up a customer. So when I do this every single day, I can see when Lindsay gets her very first sale and her very first person that she gets signed up on her second day, I can shout her out for it rather than it happening next week and going like, oh, she got a sale last week. You know, it allows us to celebrate every single life we change. As people hit Success Club, they get moved on over. And ever since I've been doing this, I actually have more people that actually hit Success Club than hang out at 4, get to the end of the month, and they're like, I'll try again next month. You know, I got this person that's going to sign up, but I'm going to hold her off so I can get those points for next month. We don't have the scarcity mindset, you know? Like, you should be hitting Success Club every single month and helping new people all the time. And so ever since we've done this, I've noticed I have a lot more success starters. I have a lot more people actually hitting Success Club. And when someone gets booted out of this group, you can guarantee they hit Success Club in the first week of the month because they need back on this page. This is where I share my graphics, anything I'm doing, my scripts. Coaches want to be in this page, so that's what I try to do. Next thing is go back this one, sorry, is incentives. So doing incentives to kind of celebrate coaches' wins. You know, for the last month of the quarter, back in April or March, like we really put more of a focus on recruiting coaches. And so I had incentives for the coaches you signed. Sometimes this month, my incentives are for helping your coaches go Emerald and hitting Success Club 10, like pushing past just Success Club 6 and helping 5 people. Because did you know when you help 5 people, you actually get an extra $100 bonus? And so that's what we do, is give incentives for those quick wins. Then on the next slide, a lot of the mentoring I do is one-on-one stuff. For a long time, I did group chats. And group chats are great because they're easier for us. We don't have to repeat ourselves so many times. But I've also noticed that you get one negative Nelly in there or one coach that gets discouraged, and they can suck the fire out of every other person having success. And they can plant seeds in people's ears that this is hard. And I don't want my coaches thinking this is hard. And my coaches who have those really early wins, like, I want to celebrate the crap out of them. I don't want them to hear from negative Nancy over here that this is so hard and their mom won't even sign up. So I do things one-on-one with my coaches. So if someone is being discouraged, I can pour belief in them. I can recommend personal development. I can give them some tasks to work on. And my girls who are having success and running, like, we can run together. They do not need to be held back by another coach who isn't having as easy of a time. And I also really try to set boundaries with my coaches. I've had a lot of coaches, and I'm sure anyone in here probably has too, where you have a coach who wants this really bad, but never really does anything. They always want to set up calls, and they want to send you a million messages, but they don't do anything. And so I learned from my mentor to give people tasks. So if you have coaches that are coming to you and constantly needing help, constantly wanting to set up a call every other day, but never actually showing up, like I've had coaches who are like, you haven't posted on social media in 3 months, no wonder, like, come on, you're not even inviting. And so I set boundaries, and I will give them a task. So if you've got a coach that is maybe struggling with something, go find a podcast or a training on YouTube or something for them to do and say, go watch this and let me know your takeaways. Go send these invites and let me know what those 10 people say. Or go do this and let me know what happens. So that way you're setting some boundaries, and hopefully they'll also see that they have to actually start putting in the work. So kind of reminding you, don't show up for someone else's business more than you're showing up, don't show up more to their business than they're showing up for their own business. And then also ask really specific questions. For the longest time, my mentorship was, hey, how's it going? Good. That's all the answer you're going to get. And it's just like with our invites. If you just say, like, let me know what you think, they're not going to tell you what they think. You have to say, like, does this sound good? Can I get you signed up? Can I send you the information? What's your email address? And same with our mentor, like the girls we're mentoring, you have to ask specific questions. What do your invites look like? Can you send me them? Can you send me a sample? If someone's having a hard time inviting and they're always getting no's, can you send me back what that girl said and go through the invite process with them and see how you can tweak it for them? Because sometimes it's the tweak of like a simple word they're saying or something that they're doing. It can be really, really little. But ask specific questions of what they're doing. What lesson are you on in the training? Have you announced yourself as a coach? Can you send that announcement so they can give you some feedback on it first? When does your next boot camp start? Like what specifically are they doing? So they actually have to respond with something other than good, because you don't get much mentoring when you say good. And so it really helps you kind of lead the mentorship as well. It's just learning how to ask really good questions. And then lastly, I want to leave you with this. Okay, so you guys can take everything I did today. You guys can go find your perfect avatar on social media. You guys can start running weekly sneak peeks. You can do exactly what I do. You can do literally everything, but still, I just want to remind you guys that you cannot do this for your team. And you're still going to have coaches that join your team that need to take a step back. Or they need it, or this, they're super discouraged and this isn't for them. And my mentor once told me that we all go through pruning seasons in our business, just like roses. And with roses, you have to prune the bush. You have to trim it back. You have to get all the dead leaves away. Just like with our businesses, sometimes we gotta let some people go. In order for those beautiful roses to come, you have to trim the bush. And you're gonna go through seasons where your business goes through pruning seasons too, where you have to give yourself permission to let go. And if you feel like you're dragging your team behind you right now, I want to give you permission today. Let go. Walk forward. Have the confidence that you have given your team every tool they need to be successful, and that when they are ready, they will come to you and they will ask for help. But do not be pouring more into your coaches than they are pouring into their own business. And when you stop dragging your coaches behind you, you're going to free up so much time to then go find your avatar and to run these sneak peeks and work with the people who are showing up and really want to do this with you. And that's when you're going to start linking arms with your leaders and start building your team together, and it's going to feel so much better than dragging your team behind you. So just know, like, our businesses go through pruning seasons just like these beautiful bushes do. So thank you so much, guys.